This month, we are looking at the theme of becoming. And I am always amazed at the power of a story to help us explore this concept. With the power of imagination, we can be drawn into a story that gives us ideas that we would have never come to on our own. And in our imaginations, we can become someone who behaves in a different way with new ideas. We can become maybe someone we have always wanted to be. So today I'd like to share with you the story of Burd Janet and how she saves Tam Lin. Long, long ago, Tam Lin and Burd Janet were deeply in love. And they were engaged to be married until suddenly one day, Tam Lin went missing. It was long and long before anyone saw him again. And it was only because Burd Janet snuck out to Carter Hall, where everyone had always been warned not to go, that she saw him at all. At Carter Hall, in the late fall, she found a blooming rose bush. And as she thought of him, she plucked the flowers off the bush. 1 and 2. But before she could get to the 3rd, he appeared. And he said to her, "I have been trapped by a fairy queen. The only way that you can save me is by doing what I say to you now." And he told her of how the next night, which was Halloween, at midnight, the fairy queen would bring her enormous army through the crossroads, and that he would be in the 3rd troop, and he would be on a white steed, and he would be wearing 1 glove and 1 bare hand, and that was how she would know it was him. And that they would cast a spell upon him and turn him into many, many different things, and she would have to hold tight through them all, no matter how frightening. But that at the end, they would turn him into a burning hot rod of iron, and that she had to cast into the water to save him. And of course, Burd Janet, who had been looking and mourning for him all these days and weeks and months, said, "Of course I will. I'll be here tomorrow night." And so she was. In the deep of night at the crossroads, she saw the fairy troops go by. 1, 2, and then the 3rd. On a white steed, there rode a knight beside the fairy queen with 1 glove and 1 hand without. And she knew it was him. And she pulled him from his horse and held him tight to her heart. And he had been right, for then they turned him into a great and growling bear. And she was terrified, but still she held tight. And then he became a hissing snake, and she nearly froze, but at the last moment, she held tight. And then they turned him into a lion, and again, she held him close to her heart. And then finally, he became a burning red hot rod of iron. She took it and threw it into the pond, and the steam hissed and rose. And then Tam Lin came up from the lake, himself again, having become all those things. Now he returned to himself. As you can imagine, the fairy queen screamed with rage, but her magic had been defeated. And Burd Janet and Tam Lin never saw her from that day until this. The end.